Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
The Cubs threw a no-hitter yesterday, and in even better news, so did Zac Gallen. Never mind that Gallen's no-hitter only lasted 6 innings and that it nearly featured 4 consecutive walks, but for the moment, the signs of life from our fallen ace are very encouraging. It also underscores the heavy lifting still ahead for the Diamondbacks. Number 1, they have to keep accumulating victories to secure their spot in the postseason, no matter what they look like. But somewhere along the way, Torey Lovullo has to figure out the sequencing of his starting pitchers and his bullpen arms, because that will likely determine if the Diamondbacks can successfully defend their National League pennant in what is going to be a loaded playoff field of teams that are pining for vengeance. It applies to the starters, who is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it applies to the bullpen, who gets the 7th, 8th, and 9th, because all you have to do to unplug a team's playoff hopes is to hand the ball to the wrong guy in game 1 of a series or the wrong guy in the 9th inning of a close game. Lovullo says it's a matter of putting the puzzle together, but puzzles are always easy at the beginning when you're framing the border with edge pieces. The endings are always complicated when the pieces become a matter of trial and error, and that is the part the Diamondbacks have to get right.
Yeah, I think it was that early situation that we talked about in pregame, and then once he got over that hurdle and made some really good pitches to Casali to get out of that jam, he caught a real tailwind. And 6 no-hit innings. It was really, really good once he got through that little speed bump. So credit to him for finding the location of all of his pitches. He got very stubborn and did his job. He walked off the mound with a lead and won a baseball game.
Torey Lovullo on Zac Gallen's performance last night. It was a little weird when you walk 3 straight, nearly walk 4 straight, but give up no hits in 6 innings, setting his team up to win. Very reassuring performance. That's the word I keep coming back to describe what Zac Gallen did last night. But you are right. Torey Lovullo's got to figure things out in terms of what this rotation will look like. Thankfully, the Diamondbacks, regardless, if they make the playoffs and advance, we won't see an opener. We won't see that this postseason.
Thank goodness.
Yes, thank goodness. But there's so many questions about the bullpen. Justin Martinez, again, last night, turned things a little more tense than they needed to. Credit to the Giants for getting the 2 runs off of him. But it's almost fascinating, really, to see what this bullpen is going through. Yesterday, we talked about, or maybe earlier in the week, Paul Sewald, in his first 11 appearances, was absolutely unhittable this year. He's been the exact opposite of that since. He's lost his closer's role. I thought Jarrett brought up a really good point earlier in the show that last night with a 4-run lead in the 9th, it's a non-save situation. And if your goal is to get Paul Sewald right again, that might have been a good time to go to Paul Sewald. Was it still too high leverage? Maybe that was the decision. They go with Martinez. He gives up 2 runs. Justin Martinez is not blowing saves.
No.
He has converted his last 8 save opportunities. Last night was not one of them because the inning started with a 4-run lead. It doesn't convert into a save opportunity if the Giants or any opponent scores runs. But during that time, Bick, he's pitched in 10 games. He's taken 3 losses. He's got 5 saves. His ERA is 5.06. Opponents are batting close to 300 agast him, and the OPS is 847.
Oh,
those are not reassuring numbers for a closer, but at some point, if you're going to walk a tightrope, at some point you're going to fall off. And it hasn't happened yet. Justin Martinez has the capability of being that shutdown guy, but we just haven't seen it. It's nerve-wracking, but it doesn't lead to anything resembling confidence right now, at least for me.
He's given up a run in 7 of those 10 games.
Yes.
I'm a little more confident in the kid than you are, only because I think there is a process that a young kid's going to have to go through to kind of get this kind of pressure and make it seem normal. I agree with you. It's not a no-brainer. But this is really such an important piece to get right, because when you're getting in the postseason, like I said, 1 blown save and you might be done. And we saw it in Game 1 of the World Series last year.
Absolutely. I was just going to go there, too.
And
changed the whole complexion of things.
Yes, it did. And so I think the team is right to wonder whether Paul Sewald, especially what we've seen lately, if he can rebound and get back to the point where he can actually do that job in the playoffs. Because he's stacked a lot of failure on top of failure this year. And we know how he interpreted losing and blowing Game 1 of the World Series. Prompted him to try to develop another pitch in the offseason. Yes. So I don't know what his confidence level is going to be, even though he's done the job successfully before. Justin Martinez, you're actually right. You don't want to commit to a high wire act, but he's got the blow you away kind of stuff. You need somebody to strike out a couple hitters in a row to get out of a tough jam. He's your guy. The question becomes, do you give A.J. Puck a shot at this? Do you have time to? Do you even want to? Because he's their best relief pitcher right now. And Ryan Nelson is their best starter right now.
And it's not particularly close on the Puck question. What he did last night comes in and just strikes out the side. Mm-hmm. And earlier in the week, Torey Lovullo admitted, he was asked, do you consider A.J. Puck as a closer? Yes, I have considered that. They haven't gone down that road yet. I'm just wondering, when is it too late to get Paul Sewald right before you just say, thanks for everything, Paul, but you're not going to be part of our high-leverage bullpen in the postseason? There's 22 games left, and it's still the question.
I know.
And for all the good things that Justin Martinez has done in closing out games, he has not done enough, apparently, to get that official title from Torey Lovullo either. Mm-hmm. There's no official closer. We know who he's going to in these situations right now. Mm-hmm. It's messy.
I'm interested to see what they do today. Day game. Mm-hmm. Martinez threw a lot of pitches the last two games. He's not going to be available.
He's not closing today.
If there is a safe situation, Thompson's been awful the last month or so. So I'd be scared to go to him to close the game. I don't know what they do. Maybe Puck.
I don't think
Puck's also thrown 2 days in a row.
Right?
Yeah,
so
that's true. That's my thing. About a week ago, I was starting to get antsy about this guy has been so good, and he's got way too small of a role for what he has shown and the talent he's put out there. You need to get a higher leverage role from, and that's not even counting the two starters you're going to have to trim from this playoff rotation. Mm-hmm. Now, you've already done one of them. You've already had that hard conversation with Jordan Montgomery, so there's no harm, no foul in leaving him sitting in the bullpen. But paring down another one, okay, you've got Eduardo Rodriguez, who is, that's an $80 million pitcher over 4 years.
Yeah, one of the Fott, Rodriguez, or Nelson. One of those three is not going to be in the postseason rotation.
Yeah. And could you imagine? And again, there's serving the team, there's serving your strategy and your intel as an organization, and there's serving perception. All three matter when teams make decisions. The perception part can't matter a ton, but you do know as an organization that if you left Ryan Nelson off and the team gets summarily swept out of the postseason, you're going to have to answer some real tough questions like, what were you looking at? What more did you need to see?
Remember 2017 in that series against the Dodgers. Torey Lovullo the whole offseason kicked himself for not getting Patrick Corbin in.
Bingo. Bingo. I had forgotten about that. That's a good pull, Vinny.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.